Hello, everyone, and welcome to Enlightened World Network. Every month, we are so blessed to have our friend Michele Landers come in and talk to us about the energy of the upcoming month. And I'm excited to hear what's going to happen in June. Every month, Michele comes to us, and she is so spot on with what the angels and the numbers are telling her. So, Michele, welcome. And I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Well, thank you, Terry. And I'm always so happy to share the information. And I'm always excited every month to see what's going to unfold. And as you mentioned, it's so interesting how the numbers and astrology and the angels are always so spot on about what's going on, right? It's
Yes,
amazing.
always. Mm-hmm.
So I thank you, and I thank of course EWN for allowing me this platform to share the information. And I do want to mention, I don't usually mention this, but every month when I do the newsletter, I do send out information on how somebody can figure out their personal month, excuse me, and then I have the interpretation. So if people want to do that, it's free. And they can just email me at michelelanders.com, Michele with one L. I'm so sorry about this morning.
That's okay. It's Michele with one L at michelelanders.com. Write that down, keep it somewhere where you can refer to it, because you'll want to get in touch with this lady after you hear her. If you've never heard her before, you're in for a treat.
Thank you. Well, let's just dive right in. And briefly, I just want to talk about May and what an intense month it was and still is. And it is, of course, heart-wrenching, the events that have taken place. And the energy of May was an 11-2. And I always want to point out to people that 11-2 is a master number, and it's such a high vibration. If you are not in alignment or not raising your vibration to meet the positive aspect of whatever number influence you're under, then you're subject to the challenges of that number. So I like to make that clear to people, because the numbers are positive and they give so much, but they can also present you with a challenge. And that's what numerology is all about. So now that we have the month of June, it should prove to bring in just a little bit of a breath of fresh air. And I've noticed that the months kind of go like that. We have a month that's challenging, and then the universe kind of says, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break. So nothing in life is one-dimensional with these predictions. There are other numbers that contribute to the energy of the month, and I always like to point that out. So I like to incorporate the numbers also of the tarot, and also some astrological aspects. So let's get going. So for the month of June, the main number that we're going to look at are 6, the month of June, and then 3, because if you add 6, June, and the universal year 2022, that equals 6. So 6 plus 6 equals 12, 1 and 2 equals 3. So all of those numbers come into play. But let's just start with June. So standing alone, June is the 6th month, and it has all of the beautiful energy of the number 6, the characteristics of the number 6. And what are the characteristics? It's love, it's home, it's kind of nesting in, it's nurturing. It does have to do with the medical field. It has a lot to do with the service field. And it has to do with balance and harmony. So I will go a little bit more into that in a moment on how that all plays. And I thought about this, and I thought, isn't it interesting as a side note, because 6 is all about love and and nurturing in home that June is so often associated with weddings. Isn't that funny?
It
Interesting.
is.
So the June standing alone as a 6 month, it has all that beautiful energy. So interestingly, the sixth card of the tarot, which I don't have them here right now, and I'm sorry, I would love to show people, but just take my word for it. It's the Lover's card in the tarot. And that is not only about, it's about communication, it's about caring and nurturing, and it's also about open communication and raw honesty, which is a big theme this month. So in the tarot, the number 6, there are couples, they both appear to be naked, and that represents being vulnerable and learning how to give with an open heart. And again, sharing deep feelings, sharing your true feelings. So sharing of your feelings and speaking is also the energy of the number 3. And that's the overriding energy of the month. So as I mentioned, when you add the number 6 of June to the universal year 2022, that's 6, and that equals 12. So before we reduce that 12, I want to talk about that energy too, because 12 is a very interesting number. And think about how many references there are to 12 months in a year. Jupiter takes 12 years to complete its cycle. Jesus had 12 apostles. Jacob had 12 sons, and these are biblical. There were 12 tribes of Israel. There are 12 animal signs in the Chinese zodiac, and there's 12 signs in the Western astrology. So 12 is a very significant number in our world. And there's more if people care to refer to it. So 12 is similar to the number 9. In numerology, cycles go from 1 to 9, and then they repeat again. So any number over 9 is usually reduced to a single digit, except for master numbers, which we're not going to really talk about today. But the number 12, because of what I had just talked about, these cycles of 12, cycles of 12, cycles of 12, there are cycles of 9 and 9 and 9. So every 12 years in someone's chart and every 9 years in someone's chart, there are usually significant changes. So the 12 is made up of the 1 and the 2. And the number 1 correlates to being independent, to new beginnings. And the number 2 is all about cooperation, sensitivity, and patience. And these are also significant words that describe June. And the 12th card of the tarot is the Hangman, which I wish I could show that right now, but I don't have it in front of me. Excuse me. So the Hangman encourages you to give yourself time to relax. And the Hangman is hanging upside down. It's not a scary card at all. In fact, he's hanging upside down, but he looks very content, and he has a halo around his head, which indicates, spirituality. So for the month of June, resonating with this 12, with this 3, with this 6, it's time for us this month to not try to control things. Just kind of let them be. And God knows we've been bombarded with so much. We really need a bit of a rest. And so when we do that, as you well know, Terry, when we stop trying to control, we open up this space, right? To allow the next right action to be revealed to us. And that is also a theme for the month. And interesting, and this is just little interesting information on numerology. And I always say that I really have to do a numerology class on EWN because it's so interesting and people find so much information about themselves. So in numerology, when I see someone has a birthday number of 12, it tells me that words are significant in some way in that person's life. Whether it's simply talking a lot, whether they're a good conversationalist, whether they're good with writing, speaking, maybe they're even just a great reader of words. But all in all, the emphasis is on words, and I'm going to get back to that about June as well. So words are very significant. So if we look at all the numbers, we have the number 6, we have the number 1, we have the number 2, and we have the number 3. So the number 3 is the overriding energy in June, and this is where it can usher in some fresh new energy. It's like being able to take a breath after a very intense May. Now, is it going to be all roses and lollipops? Not quite, but there is definitely a lightness about it. And the 3 card of the tarot is the Empress. And if anybody has seen the tarot card, the Empress, you just get such a good feeling when you look at her. She's in her garden with flowers and animals, and she's abundant. She appears to be bountiful, and it's all about new opportunity and abundance and nurturing. And again, as another aside, when the tarot card of the Empress shows up, because it's relates to creativity, sometimes it can mean pregnancy if that's what you're aiming for, because it's full and abundant. So the number 3 is a number of creativity. And again, it's birth, it's joy, 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 joy. It's expression, it's communication. And it's also a busy number. So all of these aspects are going to predominate. So on one hand, as I said, 3 is going to usher in some lightness, and there'll be so much communication going on. And my hope is that this communication, whether it's individually for us within our homes, or if it's on the worldwide stage, that it's not just going to be talking like this and like this. My wish is that we're going to be able to communicate in a way that is more focused, and not just an attempt to tell you what I think, but also an attempt to come to a resolution and to come to understanding of the other person, party, or whatever. So I'm hoping that somehow on the worldwide stage, there is an attempt at real communication. So we're going to be bombarded with information this month. As I said, it's very busy. It's going to come from a lot of different directions. We may feel scattered, as if we're being pulled in too many directions. But if we heed the advice of 3, which is to let go, it's going to be a much lighter month for us. So 3 is about expression, right? So it's really important to find a way to express your feelings, express your creativity, and to find ways to bring joy to your life. And by the way, this is where Terry comes in, because you can tune in every day to EWN and Terry Angel for Cup of Joy, which I love. So you are doing your part to really reinforce this feeling of joy. And bless you for that, Terry. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Michelle.
Yeah,
it's
so
important to get in touch with our joy.
It is. And I look forward to it when I can tune in, and I love the song, Cup of Joy.
Cup of full of joy.
I know, it just uplifts you. And that's what we're looking for this month, to tap into that. So also on another level, astrologically, June is in the sun sign of Gemini. Gemini is, guess what? It's all about using your voice. So that's very interesting because that mirrors the energy of the 3 and the emphasis on expression. So Gemini is about words. So how can we expand upon that? Well, it's really, really important not only to communicate, but to watch your words this month, because the power of your words can heal or it can hurt. And if you're not in touch with what you're really feeling, and if you're not in touch with how you're communicating, this month it can really, come back, kind of boomerang in not a very good way. So again, there's going to be a lot of talking going on and a lot of communication. And guess what? We also have Mercury, who's the ruler of Gemini. And Mercury is considered the messenger of the god, and it symbolizes communication. So if I haven't made that clear yet, I will say it one more time. Communication is paramount this month, and how you communicate. So here are some of the astrological aspects for the month. June 3rd, or is it June 4th? Mercury goes direct. And so for anybody who gets concerned about Mercury, it's going direct on the 3rd or the 4th. June 14th is a full moon in Sagittarius, and that will have to do with foreign policies, with law, with publishing. So we kind of might be able, we might hear about, we probably will hear about foreign aspects and how that is affecting us, and legal issues as well. So in the second week, around June 15th, Mars conjuncts Chiron. And Chiron is considered the wounded healer. So that's going to be an interesting day, because we might expect to, we might have feelings of past trauma or past issues that arise, but they arise to be healed. It also could be a day, for whatever reason, it might bring up feelings of fear, but this is just a temporary thing. And I point it out because whether it's from personal issues or issues in the world, it's a good time to get in touch with your center and not allow fear to overtake you. Know that it's all right, that these things, we have this ebb and flow in this world, as we've seen. And so far, for a good number of us, we've been making it through. So on June 16th, we have the sun trine Saturn. And that could mean, and this is on the heels of Mars conjunct Chiron, this can mean like having a surge of powerful energy and just being on point. I know that there are some astrologers that say that day is going to be a big manifestation portal. So I'm just throwing it out there. It doesn't hurt, right? At all. We can tap
We'll take all the help we can get, Michele.
Yes, we can. So June 20th to 26th, Mercury sextiles Jupiter on the 20th. That should herald in some good news, maybe even some big news. And the new moon on the 28th has all of this energy about home and family. So I want to talk about, a lot of these are really good aspects, and at the end, I'm going to sum it up for everyone and how they can best work with the energy. But for the US, the United States is in a different, it is affected, of course, by the 2022 energy of 6. But the United States, as in every country, has its own, let's call it, personal year. So the United States is in an 8 personal year. And wow, if that isn't accurate, because in numerology, 8 is about money, it's about karma, it's about power. So all of, and there are other things, but those are the main aspects. So how we are working with those aspects is very telling. So what's happening with us in the money sector? We are on a roller coaster ride, right? In the money sector. And that is not surprising. And June is a 5-month for the United States. So that's going to bring changes. So then the big question is, well, changes in what? Well, since the US is vibrating to the number 8 this year, which is about money, power, and karma, it's so obvious that what we're experiencing is going to be more of this up and down, financially, power, and that's going to be very prevalent for June. So there isn't much use for the United States in making, well, okay, let me say this: make plans, but don't plan the results, because things can happen unexpectedly. And people say, what the heck does that mean? That means lay out your plans, but don't be rigid in the outcome. Be open to a different and better outcome than you may have planned on. So I hope, I doubt if there's anybody in our government administration who's into numerology, but if for some strange reason they are, I would hope that they would heed this advice. It couldn't hurt. So it would be a lot of unexpected changes. And then just to give everybody a little bit of a heads up, in July, the birthday of the United States, right, is July 4th. So that's a new astrological house, which I'm going to look at and to see the second half of the year should definitely bring shifts. So it is a dynamic month. It's about movement. It's about ups and downs. It's about go with the flow, be flexible. 3 is a very psychic number as well. Trust your instincts. It's good for short trip travel. Travel is very much emphasized this month. Be very aware of your surroundings. And I tell this to everyone, be very aware of your surroundings, because with the number 5, it can bring accidents. I'm not talking about major, I'm just saying, just be forewarned, be very conscious of where you're going. Don't rush. This month asks you to slow down. So to sum it up as best I can, what can you expect? Well, first of all, what brings you joy? How can you bring more joy into your life? How can you bring joy to others? Also, number 2, speak your truth. And I love this saying. I wrote this down. Let me find it because I love this. Before you speak, there's the acronym THINK. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? So that acronym THINK is a very important point that we should remember, because words are so important this month. And so be sure that what you say what you mean, and you mean what you say, and you say it with kindness. Along the lines of communication, ask for what you need. Sometimes we're afraid to do that. We want to be independent. And the thing is, in this world, I believe that we absolutely need to be interdependent, not just completely independent and not codependent, but interdependent, that we have our own spirit, our own individuality. We don't compromise that, but we've got to understand that we need one another. We absolutely need one another. So I encourage everyone, if you need help, reach out, ask for what you need, because you know the old saying, right, Terry? If you never ask, the answer is always
The answer's
no.
no. Yeah.
Right. So ask for what you need. Loosen your grip on things this month. When you do that, you, as we talked about before, inspiration, you allow inspiration to come flooding in, and it will, trust me, it'll strike you when you least expect it. And as an aside, this has nothing to do with the predictions, but talking about opening yourself up to the universe, I do Wordle. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Wordle, WORDLE. It's a New York Times little game, and you get 5 chances to figure out what the word is. I won't go into the details of it, but the other day, just this word just popped into my head, just like that. I typed it in. Guess what? It was the word. So it was the answer to that puzzle. So again, open yourself up to new things, new ideas. Don't overcommit. This is not, and it can be a very busy month. So I just want people to be very conscious of that. Don't overcommit yourself, because although it is a busy month, and although perhaps your calendar will be filled with, you know, invitations and social gatherings, that's great, but don't overcommit yourself, you know, because overall it's still a time for us to relax, regroup, regenerate, so to speak. So along those lines, it is such a great time to give yourself a break. Take some time off. Enjoy yourself. It's a month of enhanced creativity, enhanced originality, and make sure you become involved with some fun activities. I know for me, many times I forget that because I'm always working, which is my passion. What I do is my passion for sure. But sometimes, you know, I just need to let go of all of that and just be fun and be silly, because this month it's a time of love, it's a time of caring, it's a time of social interaction. And along with that, you never know who you're going to meet. You just might meet new people who offer you some type of change, or, you know, to your routine. And you just don't know what's around the corner. So all in all, that's what this month is about. And I hope people take this telecast, I hope they take it to heart, because this can be a really fun month. And yes, a month of changes, but open your heart, invite love in, invite inspiration in, invite creativity in, and speak your truth. So I think that kind of sums it up. But Terry, if you have anything you want to share or questions, let's do it.
Well, I love all of this, Michelle. I've made so many notes, but I love that June is the month of changes. And, you know, we're coming up on half of the year. So hard to believe, but it's true. And so it is that time to maybe look at where you are, take a little inventory and see, all right, you know, are there some things that I can discard? Are there some things I can purge from my life, and then go into this next half of the year with making those changes? I think June can be that pivotal month where we say, okay, there's some things that I need to do to straighten up and have more joy, have more fun, have more abundance. And I'm certainly looking forward to June, because I'm going to have fun. You know, I'm going to a new place I've never been before. and just experiencing some amazing nature while I'm there.
Oh,
So, and it's going to be travel for me. So thank you for the information of slowing down and being more aware. I think
right.
that's important for all of us that do any kind of travel, but especially now that we know that, this is something we can just amp up our awareness and just look and see, okay, where do I need to pay more attention
Mhm,
instead of
mhm.
just letting our mind drift, as we're going along. But I just love everything that you shared with us, and those messages from the numbers. I just take it to heart because
Yeah.
I've experienced your numerological report, and I know how
Oh,
accurate they are. I know that
oh,
when you
thank
tell
you.
us this information, that we can put our money on it because if we don't see it immediately, it's going to be there. This energy
Yes,
that comes in June, it's going to be significant.
yes.
And the communication part, so
Oh,
important to watch our words, to try to always find a positive. Whatever we say, whatever comes forward from us is adding to the big soup, the mix of all of everyone's energy. So how are we able to impact that energy? By keeping our thoughts
yes.
positive, our words positive, and taking action in a positive way. Michele, I just want to thank you for this. This has
Oh,
been so enlightening, and
thank
I look
you.
I look forward to this coming month. I already was, but now I'm like really excited that we're
Yeah.
going into this kind of energy.
You said two things that were very important, and I just want to emphasize it. You said this is a pivotal month, and it is. You're spot on. It is a pivotal month, and it is a time to rethink where you are and where you want to go. And also, you said about, yeah, about being aware and conscious, but there was something else that you said, and now it just flew out of my head. But whatever Terry said, take it to heart because it's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, about the energy of your words. As we speak, everything has an energetic component, right? So words, just like what was his name, Messages in Water, and he passed away, Matsu, I can't remember his name, but he wrote the book Messages in Water, or Messages of Water.
Oh, Masaru Emoto.
Yes, thank you so much. And he demonstrated how if you speak into water, and then you look at those crystals under a microscope, when you spoke loving words to that water, and not sure how long he would wait until he would examine it. The crystals were beautiful, really lovely to look at, like snowflakes, and just lovely. If it was negative, if you were saying, I hate you, I mean, I don't even like to say those words. The crystals actually appeared deformed, and the color was dark and heavy. I mean, that is so significant and telling. So what you said about your words, when we put them out there, gosh, and even when we think it, because we think our words and our thoughts stay here, and of course we know that's not true, they are broadcasting into the universe. So the happier, kinder thoughts we could have. And again, so many things that are going on are stirring up fear and anger will never solve our problems ever. I can understand being upset or distraught over things that are happening. Feel those feelings. You have to, we're human. And what do I always say? Even Jesus had bad days, but move on from that and think of a solution rather than dwelling on the problem or sending hate bombs or poison arrows to people. That only magnifies any bad situation. So, but
So
getting back
true.
to this month, yeah, lighten up, use your words consciously, tune into your psychic intuition, and it'll be at least a little break from so much of the challenges we've been experiencing.
Absolutely. Michele, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Terry.
What a delight to always have you to come in and share with us at the beginning of the month so that we can just kind of relax into, okay, I got this. I know this now. And I always say information is power. If we are informed, if we have some clue as to what we're going into, then we have more awareness and we can go into it in a mindful way. So thank you so much for being with us.
You.
And Michele, I know you're getting ready to do some travels, so safe travels to you.
Thank you.
I hope it's a really amazing opportunity for you to just shine your light wherever you're going.
Oh, thank you so much, Terry. I appreciate that. Well, we'll see. I may be going very far away, or I may be staying right here. We don't know how that's going to play out, but
yeah,
whatever it is, it's perfect.
I love that you're flexible.
I am. Gotta be.
Right. Okay. Well, Michele, any last words? We're going to end the recording and let people get on with their day, but any last thought that you want to leave us with?
I guess my last thought is numbers really, really do have power. And when you understand a little bit more about your own personal numbers, it is powerful. Knowledge is power, because then you know how to work with either some of the karmic areas of your life or your passion or your purpose. And the numbers can illustrate that. It can point that out to you. And I just want for people to feel more joy and happiness in their life, because, you know, we've been going through some challenging times right now. So open your heart, be with the people you love, bring joy into your life, do the things that are joyful, give joy to others, and we'll all be in a lot nicer place when we all do that.
Absolutely beautiful words and great words to end with. Thank you all for joining us. You can find Michele at michelelanders.com and reach out to her and just let her know you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, just please let her know. Thank you for joining us today. So much love to all of you. Take good care. Bye now. Bye, Michele.
Bye.